Welcome to the first episode of Gaming Channel Podcast. I'm Mike from Ration, and I'm with two very cool people today. Somnia from... Go ahead and introduce you both yourselves.
I'm Somnia. I'm from Somnia Stellarum. That's my YouTube channel. It focuses on Minecraft and creativity and strategy games.
And I'm Suzie from Suzie the Sawyer. That's both my YouTube and my Twitter handles. So, and I focus on having a gaming channel as well.
Cool. Of course, if you've seen anything I do, you know that I focus on macho, over-the-top reviews of gaming games. Where the three of us have decided to get together to kind of chat about, YouTube gaming channel creation, what goes on behind it, and how all of you can create your own gaming channels and, hopefully grow them to be successful someday. And today we're just actually going to start with the easiest topic we can, which is just getting started. So, I think that all of us are going to share kind of how we got started today and just some, quick advice that we all have.
Yeah.
Sure. Sounds good.
Cool. Somnia, do you want to lead?
Sure. So I started my YouTube channel back in May. So I kind of was starting to get interested in watching YouTube channels over the last couple of years. And I slowly kind of came around to the idea that, hey, maybe I could do this. And so I started my channel in May. It sort of coincided with a bit of changes in my personal life in terms of my jobs and that sort of stuff. So that kind of coincided there. And I've been trying to grow my YouTube channel since then, and I've just been meeting a lot of really cool people since. It's not my full-time job right now. I don't think it's pretty hard to get to that point, but I think eventually making a little bit of money off of that wouldn't be bad. But that's basically where I'm at. And then my best advice is just to get started. Like it sounds kind of circular there, like my advice to get started is to just do it, but that's really the truth of it is you just want to start going at it, and whether or not you have the right thumbnails or the right anything, it doesn't really matter. It's stuff that you can learn as you go, and the first thing is actually hitting record and putting something into a video and seeing what you get.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you, Suzie?
Well, I also started my channel in May, and funnily enough, I was also beginning to watch a lot of different videos on YouTube about Minecraft, because I actually didn't get introduced to Minecraft until a little bit later in the game. So I had just started playing it. I got it actually for Christmas the year before. And, just kind of played it for the console. And then when I would run into something where I didn't know anything about what it was, I'd go search for it. And then that started to lead to various gaming channel discoveries, and just kind of watching these other gamers in their channels and realizing, this is what they do. They record their gameplay. So I started to just kind of looking into it, doing different searches, like how to have a gaming channel. The information is really sparse, but eventually I was able to come up with a couple different, things to help me kind of get started, and I just jumped into it. So seize the day.
Exactly. I think that's actually a great way to put it, is just seize the day. I think I could have learned something from that, because one mistake I think I made with my channel is I actually created it back in August, but I didn't really start putting videos on it until September. Or maybe I created it in June or July. So if you look at it, it's well, this guy's only seriously been putting out videos for a couple months, but his channel's been around since June. So
right.
If you're gonna make it, just go ahead and go for it. It actually took me a really long time to even, kind of find YouTube. When I went to film school, and when I did, no one was talking about YouTube. People might talk about blogs, but it was back in 2011. That was before even like Markiplier was and PewDiePie were huge. I reckon. I don't think they got really ginormous until 2012, if I'm right there. But, I just kind of got sick of watching TV. And so I turned to, one YouTube channel that I knew about, which happened to involve video gaming. And, about a year later, I was like, this is what I want to do. Any advice y'all have? Something that I hear, I went to a YouTube meetup recently, and a lot of people have questions about equipment. Any advice both of you have on just, people who have questions about startup equipment?
I know personally for me, I function on the barest minimum that you need to get started. So for me, that's just a gaming headset. I did splurge, like not even a lot, but a little. It would only cost me like $50, and I just put a protection plan on it so that if anything happened to it, I could get it replaced. And then I invested in Bandicam, the full license for that, which was, I want to say that was like $20. And then I use, what is the software that I use to edit? Movie Maker. So Movie Maker, like Windows Movie Maker, the free software, that's what I use to edit my videos. And it works. And then pretty much all the graphics I make, I do make them in Photoshop, but that was something that I had before. But there are other different versions of like web browser kind of like software applications that you can use online for free, like including PicMonkey to do your thumbnails and your channel art. All that stuff I do myself, and yeah, so really bare minimum to get started.
Definitely. How about you, Somnia?
I kind of did this, like something very similar there. So I tried to invest just a little bit of money. I actually bought a gaming headset as well. It cost me about $70. So I think you probably got the better deal there, Suzie. And then also I wasn't terribly impressed with the audio from mine. So yours actually kind of comes out pretty clear usually. Mine was actually pretty terrible. It always had like this terrible hiss on it. And even once I started using Audacity, it still had that hiss and stuff. So it wasn't until I actually asked for Christmas, asked for a blue snowball. And I think if I had to do it again, I invested money into a gaming headset and fraps. And if I had to do that again, I wouldn't invest that money. I'd just go straight for a good mic, like a blue snowball. And I think that's, if I was to give anybody advice, I'd say buy a blue snowball, and then everything else you can make do with like free software. You can use OBS to record your stuff. It's a little bit finicky, so you kind of got to play around with it until you get out to work. And even this past weekend, I figured out something that I hadn't known before that was causing me problems. That you have to use it in administrator mode, or else you can end up with a black screen. So I was always kind of, whenever I was streaming, it was fine. But whenever I would try to record with it, it was giving me this black screen of death. And so I was kind of frustrated. But I found out this last weekend that you can avoid that. So you could probably get away with pretty cheap stuff for the most part, or cheap software or free software or whatever. But I think the best thing you could probably invest in is a mic. That's the one thing. And then thumbnails and all that sort of stuff, I use GIMP. So it's a free photo editing. It's kind of like Photoshop, but the free version of that. And it's going pretty well, I think. So you could definitely make your money go a long way with when you start off. So
Yeah, that's so good to hear both of you say. I did have a couple programs going for me to my advantage because of where I graduated from. I did have Final Cut Pro and the entire Adobe suite, but there are just so many good free software programs out there, and I can't agree more that you do need to have good audio. I bought a Blue Snowball myself. It was like $50 on Amazon. But if you have good audio, really nowadays there are so many programs out there that you can just download for free, like OBS, and start making videos. And I think if you are a new creator, you're thinking about starting a gaming channel, just look at it in layers. Don't look at the whole thing and be like, how do I make a video? Just take it in just little bites. Be like, okay, how could I record the audio? How could I record my screen? And when you start to look at it as just those pieces or objectives that you gotta conquer, you'll start to figure out ways to do it. I mean, I have one of the worst setups in video or YouTube gaming channel history. It's horrible. It's awful. I have Apple computers. A lot of my friends know that I have Apple computers, and a lot of the traditional methods just do not work, like Fraps, and OBS is even really finicky on a Mac. I use QuickTime, and it's a pain in the butt, but it gets the videos, it gets it out there, and it's all I had, so that's what I went with.
That's funny. Yeah, I think I tried messing around with QuickTime a little bit in the beginning, and then I was like, there has to be an easier way.
Oh, you too, huh?
Yeah, because I have a PC, and at this point, it's almost 6 years old. It actually, when I went to go first install Minecraft on it, it was absurd. It was 2 weeks of just trying to figure out what was wrong with my computer. Why was this doing this? Because it was all weird on the screen, and it looked like everything in the world, if I got close to it, would turn black and start splaying across the screen. And eventually I ended up having to take my PC in and have it just completely wiped clean and start completely fresh. And then from there, it actually works. But can't even Twitch stream from my computer. My computer just doesn't have it. I can't even watch a Twitch stream. So just basic games on a crappy computer, you can usually make them work.
I was about to ask, are you describing your YouTube startup or my childhood? I can't tell you how many times be like, Dad, did you see this cool new game? And we would buy it, and it would result in just getting a brand new computer. It sucked.
Yeah, I'm hoping to one day upgrade my computer, but that's not a necessity right now. So one day maybe.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I think a lot of people they look at I think a lot of people get started because they look at big channels and they see how nice their videos look, and you see on Reddit, you'll see people ask all the time equipment to get started, and I mean, the thing to keep in mind is are you going to go out and spend $1,000, $2,000 on gaming equipment? You don't know if you're going to be on YouTube 6 months from now, especially if you've never done it before, or you're young, or you're going to school soon. Unless you are absolutely positive on what you're going to bring to YouTube, and you're going to go at it almost you're going to treat it as a startup, don't go out there and spend $2,500 because you might find that you're not using it 6 months from now.
Right.
But if you're treating it as a startup, you need to make that investment, and that investment has to have a return. And unless you can guarantee you're going to have 70,000 subs in 6 months, you're probably not going to be able to have a good ROI on that until you get up to that point. So you're going to want to just focus on growth and not necessarily worry about how much money you're going to be making out of it. But that also means you don't want to invest a lot into it as a startup, right? So it's tricky. You got to change your mentality sometimes. Like, everybody wants to succeed, but with YouTube, you've got to develop your audience before you can succeed. And if you go into it thinking you're going to succeed first, then you've kind of got to rethink that.
Yeah, but that definitely could be a topic that we tackle another time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both. I think what we can just say to, people who are thinking about starting a gaming channel is that just do it. Just, jump into it feet first. Try to think up an idea that you want your channel to focus on, but don't waste a lot of time. Just do it and learn along the way. And one of these days, if you keep at it, you'll find that audience does find you if you're able to meet their needs.
Yes, exactly. So
yeah,
just keep chugging away.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Don't forget, if you're watching on Action Ration, to seek and destroy that subscribe button. And don't forget to, seek and destroy the subscribe buttons of Somnia at his channel and Suzie over at Suzie the Sawyer. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll catch you all next time on the Gaming Channel Podcast.
Bye, guys.
See you guys later.
Peace.